Good morning, friends. Simply Forex, trading Forex simply. I'm your host, Max Farrow. This is DexTrader.com, and today is October 30th, 2017. We're going to talk about the market movements today, the news for the week, and of course, what happened last week with our EA or our bot. I always hate saying bot, but hey, that's what it is. And what's about to come with our signals and a few other things. So sit back and relax. We're going to get started right now. All right, so we're ready. Okay, so this week, that's right, it's an NFP week. We got a lot of stuff to discuss. Now, I avoid the NFP like the plague. Yeah, that's what the P stands for, plague. I don't like to trade the NFP because it's super speculation. It's 50-50. And the big problem for me is that if you do get a good idea about what to trade on that day, the swing is so huge that you'd have to be extremely knowledgeable at this point. And the game here is, well, it's just 50-50, flip a coin. No, not actually. Because if you were to get in here at this point, and let's just say you flip a coin, you decide to go with a sell, okay? The thing's going to pop down here, it's going to come back up, it's going to sit up here, it's going to come back down, it's going to sit, and it might then travel on. Or it could just do what it did about 2 years ago to me. I picked a direction, and it went, and just stayed right there and didn't do anything. This is probably about 50 pips. And then, of course, the next 12 hours it recalculated. But the point is that you never really know what's going to happen with the NFP. At the retail trader level, right? Because there's retail traders, there's institutional traders. But you ready for some sad news? You as the retail trader continually put your money into that market, into that NFP. You are the liquidity for all those institutional traders to get out, okay? Because you help them make their margins. You help them make their stops into their levels. Okay, those institutional traders, they already know. They knew weeks ago what the NFP is going to do today, right? They have so much technical analysis and so much understanding of the process that they know which way it's going to go, right? They don't need to get in and out. You help push it to those levels, okay? So don't trade the NFP. In fact, on Wednesday, if we want to look at some of the news here, let's get into here and look at the news this morning. This is for Monday. You kind of see, not too bad. We had some stuff fly off at 8:30 this morning. We have another couple pieces that stopped at 9, nothing too big. And then later on this evening, a couple small things, but nothing too serious. Now, here's the cool part. The system should trade pretty well today. Okay, if you're in and you got good movement, then you could definitely get a couple good pips in. Watch your stops, move your stops accordingly, follow the training. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get this thing to pull up here for Friday. Here's Wednesday. Lots and lots and lots of news happening on Wednesday and on Thursday. Okay? Now Friday, of course, NFP, 8:30 in the morning is where all the stuff comes into play. All right? Now, again, 8:30. Now the rest of the day, it's going to be mucked about because you got some more news at 10 o'clock. All right? So I wouldn't take the chance. Now, this is the other thing to talk about here, okay? In trading on the in an NFP week, this is 1 week out of 4.8 on a month. You have to kind of watch how you trade. You have to keep in mind too that take a couple of days off with it or do it in demo, right? If you are going to trade, if you're going to follow the same rules, skip the NFP day, but stay with the rules of the process and trade in demo. If you're already trading in live, trade in demo. Get the practice behind it. But hopefully you've also kept yourself a little buffer in the process too, right? So let's just say you needed $6,000 for the month, and you're trading, what, 40 pips a day, right around 40 pips a day. All right, you've calculated that you need a certain amount. Make sure that you overcalculate for what you need, not by forcing the pips, but what's your consistent pip ratio, of course. What can you get consistently every day? And then add your volume to it. So if you need to add more volume to it in order to get to your levels, to your goals, you have to definitely make sure you got that consistency. This way, it'll overshadow any days that you can't normally trade. All right, so keep that in mind. Today's going to be a light week, so I don't suppose I'll see a lot of you in chat. Make sure that you're in there asking questions, getting stuff started, right? Let's just go quickly have a look at the overall market here for this week. I don't even really want to speculate too much on the market, but let's just kind of run through it anyway. Now, I have some things running on my system here, so I'm not going to move around to a lot of different time frames. I'm going to use the 1 hour chart. We're into a couple of trades right now. We're kind of playing back and forth. And remember, bots, EAs, all that kind of stuff. This is not our live one. This is one that's sitting in forward testing right now. It's our Simply Forex 2 that we're testing at the moment. Well, I named it the Max Pharaoh, but what can I say? That's how I secretly test stuff. All right, so the Audi for so far for the last week has been in a downtrend. I hate to be one of those weather people that we have a 50% chance of participation here, right? I know, play on words. But we do have an opportunity here of if we can get a nice little crossover in this process and continue upwards, I think that we'd be pretty golden. I personally think that there's going to be another big down from this point. And we're going to head down into the levels of 76.19, 76.20, hit the 7,600 area again for midweek. So keep an eye on a lot of down opportunities there. Make sure that your EAs are set accordingly. We're going to switch over to the Euro USD. Kind of pull back just a little bit here. Oop, too much. There we go. All right. Also the same thing. We're getting this little curl because we had the downtrend the last part of last week coming off the main highs here. We were really excited about the 118 or 1.1800 level. And once we pierced that, we just sort of kept on going north, but then everything fell back down south, right? Pierced this big band of support and resistance here from our support and resistance indicator at 1730, 1720 area, and just kept on going. Grabbed another one below 1600 or below 1700. So we were very excited about that. Now that we got a double top here that's happening, I think that if we pierce this level right here at the, let me give you a number here, at, let me see if I can do this, 1.5777. Let's just use that as an area marker right here. If we continue to head into this direction, I think we're going to be into some new territory that we haven't been in for a little while. If we pull back even further, I don't know if we can see anything back that far. Wow, yeah, I could probably pull back one more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, back in July, down to these numbers, this 1480 area. That's where we're 1573 right now. Or no, sorry, we're up here. But we did have a bounce off here last month from that. But I think that we can head back down to those levels, probably even to below the 1500, 1.1500 area here later this week with the Euro USD. If we can continue on in that process, I don't think we're going to climb up higher at all because there's some major news coming out. There's the NFP, everything happening this week, so keep that in mind. Let's look at the Great Britain pound. Still kind of playing in this, I almost say like a bigger channel, a descending channel even right here. I think that if we do end up coming back down, because we have so much conflict happening here and here on these EMAs, these SMAs right now, I don't think our dynamic SMA is going to give us a good feel for it. We are sync waving in. Maybe we're hitting this that's happening right now, this descending flag even. I won't even call it a flag, this descending channel, okay, right here. Now, I do think that if we top out and we can stay right here, we're going to end up in this lower position, probably even bouncing off of the 13 or 1.3150 area for another retracement area before we head down lower for after the 5 o'clock time period today. Let's look at the USD CHF real quick. Still heading in this little uptrend. Still doing pretty good. Still holding strong. I don't think it's going to break too much into the downward section. If it does, look for a big, huge move back to this middle area over here. This is what we're hoping on. Our little indication here is that we bounce off this support or this resistance area and come back down south. Okay, that's what I'm hoping on for it to be able to do that. We'll see if it does it at that point. USD/JPY had just had a pretty big movement here just a few moments ago in this past hour because of the news that's being released. I think we're going to kind of come back up and retrace, but I do think we're in a small little, because we've had the puncture, retrace, puncture. I don't think it's going to retrace. I think everything's going to flip around. We're going to head down south. How far down south? I think we're going to try to at least, if we can bounce off this level right here, because it seems to be a pretty big neutral zone here. If we don't bounce off, we're going to head back south to here, which, let me give you those two numbers. If we don't bounce off 113.30 area and come back up north, then we're heading down to 112.99, 113 area. Yeah, I'd say 113 would be the major bounce off there if it does do it. So, maybe a good buy order at that point, buy stop, buy stop. Yeah, that's right. I said that right. A buy stop order to come back up north like that. Okay. But if we do reflect off any one of these areas, looking for some concentration of resistance at this top line area, see what our indicators already said that right here, and right here, that we're going to get some resistance from that area if we do penetrate and we're trying to get back north of that area. It might be just quick resistance, but it's still going to be some resistance. USD CAD, I always get worried about this because a lot of oil news released last week. We had a huge rise, as you can tell right here, about the beginning of last week. And we just seem to, every new dynamic stop loss that we were putting on was just getting, or take profit was just getting blown out, which is great. We made some good money in forward testing last week. Live testing, I don't think I did any CADs in live testing last week, but because of the volatility and the unsureness of it. But we'll have to kind of look at that here in just a minute. I do think that where this is going for the rest of the week is that we're going to be on this incline. We're going to try to meet up with this process happening right here. I think it's going to come back into that area right around that 2800 area. It's going to try to make its way back down to 2800, 1.2800 to be in that process. All right. That's basically my read for the market right now. Let's jump over and have a look at what we did in the last part of last week and how well our Simply Forex bot is, the SF1 is working out right now. All right, so this is the SF1 Indicator. We are, yep, there it is, Simply Forex version 1. We have version 2 coming out in a process for delivering signals. We'll also have this one later on as a signal delivery process as well for our members who've purchased the main process. Yet we don't even have a USD CAD in this pack for the SF1. But let me show you real quickly. If you don't know this about MetaTrader, if you go to view and, if you go to terminal, view, then terminal, and you want to isolate a time period on to show you results of your account, you right click anywhere in here and you go to custom period. I'm going to shoot back to the 23rd because that's when we started this live test for this particular product. I'm going to hit OK. All right. So now it'll give you your profit loss. You can see $17.28. You might not think that's a lot of money, but listen, folks, we're using 1 micro lot. That's right. That means that for every pip that we make, it's 10 cents. Okay? So that may not seem like a lot, but that's 172 pips from the 23rd. That's 7 days, folks. 7 days. So 72 pips in 7 days. What does that come to? Well, let's calculate it out. 172 divided by 7. About 24 pips a day, but really there wasn't 7 days worth of trading in there. There was only five days worth of trading being done. So 172 divided by 5, about 14 pips a day, so that's not too bad. Right, we really only need about 20 pips a day to survive the world. Now, let me show you what we did in there. Here we go. 1728. So there wasn't a tremendous amount of trades on. I mean, let's go look at our numbers on our chart. What I did is I take this information and I put it into a detailed report. Simply by right-clicking, go to Save Detailed Report, and then I'll pop that up. All right, so here's our detailed report on okay. This is the one from last night. Okay, yeah, started on the 27th. We had an over the weekend, which I don't like to do, which I got into this morning and seen that it was doing okay, and we popped it out. So we got in early. We got out early, 10:30. Made 14 pips, right? Because that's one mini lot or one micro lot. We got into the Auto USD, and this one I manually closed out. I moved the stop loss up to close it out because I didn't feel comfortable with the direction it was going to be going and some things that were happening. So it would have still gotten to about 18, 19 pips and still did okay. So I manually interceded in that process and got out. Well, then the big one from last night to this morning looks about like a 3.5 hour trade. Made 29 pips. So not too bad. This was a good morning, a good beginning part of the week. So very excited about that. Let's get over to the big board here and see what we've done. So from last night to this morning, even the weekend trade, we did about 45 pips. So this is a pretty good day. We had a great week. Let's see. Let's pull this here. There it is. At 100, as I said, about 100. There it is. 117 pips. So since we've started the process of, because this is more forward testing. And this process, about 501 pips from, this is just the month. This is for the month. This is with forward testing and live testing. As you know, we don't mix results as far as what's true to us, because we were using one standard lot. We dropped down to one mini lot, and now we're down to a micro lot, really going consistent. So anything with a micro lot is live that we were testing, but I wanted to be able to give you unadulterated results in that process. So starting here from the 23rd, right here is where we started using that particular account solely for Simply Forex. We have another live account where that live account was also trading other things too, and I was also trading manually in there, but I wanted to give you an account that was trading strictly by the bot. Okay, I only had one result in there which I altered and I got out, and again I shouldn't, and it won't when it's in signal mode. I'll just let it do its thing. Okay, this will be the only account that I know of that provides signals that's not a courier service, a copier service out there to the world. So I'm very excited about this. All right, so what would you have made if you've been trading at the volumes? Well, this would have been, of course, it was 45 pips, so $4.50 if you had a micro, $45 if you had a mini, and $450 if you had a standard. So that's not a bad morning. I even made that before I had my coffee. It's beautiful. All right, so that's basically it. If you're watching this and you're not inside the Simply Forex network just yet, simply go to dextrader.com. Okay, you'll go to the Getting Started page, follow the instructions on how to get the Simply Forex. You will not be able to purchase signals for the Simply Forex unless you have gone through the training. Okay, unless you've gone through and bought the Simply Forex portal system, which is on the chart. There's some discounts. Ask your customer service rep for some discounts, but I do not want to put this out just for anybody. You will learn how to trade the system before you get signals. You have to have gone through the Simply Forex portal system to learn how to trade it before you actually can obtain the signals. Now, if you buy the main system, you get signals included. It's like something like $97 a month after your initial fee to get the training, but you get consults, you get a whole bunch of stuff in there too. So make sure that you're on board. That's about my time. I'm Max Farrow. This is Simply Forex, Trading Forex Simply, and this is DexTrader.com. We'll see you next time, and as always, trade well.